my 26 meters, GF, 24F, told me she is pregnant, but I'm sterile. I'm from a C country and my first language is not English. Backstory: I got into an accident after my college and will never be able to have kids. None of my family members know of this. They know about the accident, but not about this. I have always wanted to be child free, so it did not affect me much mentally. I have finished my master's degree last year and never dated. Before I got a very high paying job directly through campus placements, my parents immediately wanted me to get married after getting a job, but I wanted to work on myself and explore a bit. They said no, and I said that it was my wish. All my life I did what they wanted, and for the first time, when I talked against them, they were not happy. This was last year and they gave up after COVID started. So I picked up some dating apps and went through them, but no luck. Then my parents introduced me to a family friend's daughter and we clicked. Kinda looking back, I was a fool. She said yes to anything I said and never complained about anything. I felt kinda weird about it. I wanted her to express her interests, but she always said she was interested in whatever I do well. I did not think much about it. I said that I won't have kids ever, and she surprisingly said, okay. I was like, damn. She is probably the one, as it is very hard to find a partner who is child free in my country, or at least I thought, but we were in the initial stages and I have not told about my accident. Long story short, we had sex a month ago. I used condoms because safety first. The next day on, she started ghosting me a bit. I thought it was due to my performance in bed and wanted to give her some space. Then she texted infrequently and only replied OKs and KS and one line answers. I thought maybe she wanted to end the relation and was sad, but left it at that. Yesterday, all her family came to my house and she claims she's pregnant and the father is me. Needless to say, I freaked the duck out and wanted to collapse on the ground. I did not say anything while they were talking about marriage and stuff. That needs to happen because I got her pregnant. Please advise me on what steps to take now. Reddit update. Let me start off by saying I'm very grateful for all the Redditors who took their time to read and give me advice. I was overwhelmed by the amount of comments and how many of you said it might not even be my kid. Looking at it from a different perspective gave me much more insight on the whole situation. I called my boss and took today off. I called up some clinics to get tested and was given a slot on Friday afternoon. Then I went to the store and bought some pregnancy tests and asked only her to come to my place tomorrow. I pointy today morning. I also called my parents and before I said anything, my mom asked me if I had any good news. I was shocked by what she said and asked me what exactly she was talking about. She then played dumb and I knew that the situation was more ducked that I thought. I cut the call and cried all night till 3 AM. Grown ass man crying for the first time since 8th class. She came today morning with her parents. Even after I told her to come alone, they were under the impression that I was gonna discuss engagement plans with them. I told them to wait outside and called her in and they threw a fit. I told they can all go back or let her alone come in. They said okay. I took out the pregnancy tests and gave it to her and told her to prove that she was actually pregnant and told her where the bathroom was. She started screaming at me. Never done this before. I was shocked at this. Then she went out the door and called her parents and now everyone is screaming at me in my own home because I asked her to prove the pregnancy, not even a DNA test. I told them all to duck off, and 1 hour later, my parents and they all came to my home and they spilled the beans. She was never actually pregnant. As many Redditors said, my parents were afraid that I was getting old for marriage and wanted me to marry and give them grandchildren. They said that in arranged marriages, no need for the people to actually get to know the spouse because parents choose only the best for their kids. They planned this all and were only waiting for me to have sex with her to do this. I broke down and cried again. All my life, I did exactly what my parents wanted, always scored high and never asked for anything. I told them to get out and never talk to me again in between crying, and they said parents know what's best for their kids and I should do what they say. Then I got extremely angry and told them to duck themselves in my native language, which was very bad for once. I think they knew I was serious with them and they all left. I blocked them all before sending my parents a message to never again contact me in my life, even if one of you is dying. Cried for some more time, went through some dog videos, and went through all my messages on Reddit, and I feel Like I owe you guys this update because it was you guys who helped me do this, that is all, and I hope you have a wonderful day. 1. Get tested to see if you are sterile. 2. If she is pregnant, get the baby tested. 3. Make plans accordingly if you are the father or not. 4. On a final note, you may need to step away from your family for your own health. Exactly this list. Delay any wedding until your sterility is proven or the paternity is proven. I'd prove paternity before sterility. A lot of times, sterile just means you're under a certain threshold. Go to a doctor, get tested for sterility, and give the results to her and your family. You do not have to marry this person. You do not have to keep your parents happy. They sound super selfish and manipulative. You do not have to do anything don't want to. Get tested and confirm that you, in fact, can't have kids. Do not sign the birth certificate. Get advice from an attorney as soon as you can and stay safe. You could get tested to confirm you are truly sterile. You may want to try speaking with her privately to let her know you are physically incapable of being the father. You may have to reveal your sterility to both of your families. Thank you for the advices. I will tell them about me being sterile and also using condoms. I just feel like shit because I have to tell my parents about this and they won't like that. They won't have grandkids. Depending on how much damage you've got down there, you'll want to first absolutely confirm that you're still sterile and it's not possible. Then you'll want to cut and run. Now he needs to mention this first before they get ahead too far. The girl's actions are suspicious and maybe she is cheating on side and just wants to get married as per her parents' wishes and keep the affair on the side. Demand a paternity test. Sounds like a bait and switch. Don't fall for it. Don't agree to anything or sign anything. Probably got pregnant from someone else and trying to get you to pay for it. You need to tell her and everyone you are sterile and it's not possible. Go to the doctor and check. I was told years ago I would never have a baby and now I have 3. Sometimes doctors are wrong. It can happen. Just check with your doc and if she continues this lie, get a DNA test. Get a medical test confirming sterility. Share it with your parents. They will likely manage the rest for you because it is now their honor that has been violated. From your story, it sounds like you have been set up. Big time. Good luck with all this. Taking you being sterile out of the equation. Her knowing she was pregnant the day after you had sex for the first time all but guarantees she got pregnant from someone else. It was also nice of her to out you in public before talking to you. Go ahead and return the favor and let them all know you're sterile. That should be fun. Consider yourself lucky you're dodging this bullet. Sounds like the risk of you getting her pregnant is very low and the girl/family is trying to pressure you into marriage. If you are so sure you are sterile, although this might not be a certainty unless that entire organ is missing or something, just go to a specialist doctor who can confirm you are indeed sterile and explain the facts to them. Also, how does she know she is pregnant? A missed period or urine test might not be so accurate. The gold standard is a blood test. I understand that if your culture is highly religious or conservative they might take offense to such a factual way of proving pregnancy and fatherhood, but if you are calm, tactful, polite, and explain the circumstances of your accident and that you were so careful to use a condom, the parents might be understanding about why you are confused and skeptical. Again, I think keeping calm and polite and communicating warmly is key. Emotions are likely running high for the parents and you can easily be targeted as the bad guy trying to wriggle out of responsibility. Summary: go to a doctor to prove your sterility. Avoid asking the GF about other partners if conservative or parents are involved as things might get highly emotional. Communicate politely and respectfully and hope they are reasonable people. Good luck. Just to clarify one point, urine pregnancy tests are pretty accurate as long as they say positive. It is when they say negative that they lose accuracy. Seems like you are being treated as a commodity by both your own family and her. You need proof of her pregnancy and a dating scan to see how far along she is. I come from a traditional family as well, so I know that turning around and saying you're sterile might work against you, so you can't really say anything at this stage. I would definitely go and get tested and have a report ready. Get the girl once you have your results and they say you are sterile and she has her pregnancy proof. Tell her you know the baby isn't yours and you will tell her family if she doesn't tell the truth. Try and get the truth out of her. Do not marry this girl and her family, they already sound controlling and manipulative. If the results say you could have gotten her pregnant and she is then demanded a DNA test when the baby is born, tell everyone about the damage-induced sterility and that you will be having tests run to double check that you are indeed infertile, as well as a paternity test before you agree to anything. I know a man who got fixed so he would never have children. His wife got pregnant and he accused her of cheating. They got divorced and she decided to raise the child by herself. A year later they took a paternity test and it turned out he was the father. He destroyed his marriage because he was so confident that he would never have children. He deeply regrets it and actually now loves his child, but will never change the way he treated his ex-wife and how he destroyed the marriage. You should get a paternity test to avoid a situation which you might deeply in a few years. THIS// I have had friends that have been confirmed sterile by doctors and somehow still become pregnant, which was confirmed he was the father with a paternity test. I believe being classified as sterile means that the likelihood of getting pregnant is so statistically low that is pretty much considered impossible. Just like the lottery, it can still happen. I would demand a paternity test before making any rash decisions, but the story does seem fishy. It could potentially be yours though, my dude. Don't burn the bridge until you know for sure. I'd want to have her pregnancy confirmed by both a stick that you know she peed on for sure and via a doctor's visit. After that, get the paternity test. Good luck op. You need to inform her that you are 1. Sterile and therefore not the father of the child, and 2. Not interested in having your own kids, let alone someone else's. This is a ducked up situation, but a sterile guy in a condom has like a 0% chance of getting someone pregnant. So the kid isn't yours and you shouldn't have to raise it if you don't want to. It doesn't sound like Op has confirmed he's actually sterile, though. A doctor very well could have told him that years ago. But if he's not actively getting his sperm counts checked, there's no way to know whether he's still sterile. It happens. That checks out. Op should get himself checked. And if he's still sterile, he ought to bail on this woman. BC, she's trying to convince him that a kid is his when it's not. If the kid actually is his, that's a separate issue. Most likely you are not the father, but it is sort of possible. I would see a doctor and see if your fertility has come back. If not, it's not possible for you to be the father. Also, you used a condom, so I doubt it's yours. She probably cheated and doesn't realize it's not yours. Also, ambushing you with her family is a sick move and sounds like a baby trap. So yeah, break up with her and tell her it's impossible as you are infertile. She will probably confess to the affair, then who knows. I'm sorry, now you have to come clean to your parents before you are ready. People keep saying check for sterility or paternity, but I think you need to check first for verification of actual pregnancy. It sounds like she is pretending to be pregnant after one time so that she and her family can rush you into marriage. Ask to attend the first doctor appointment. That should buy you time from both sets of parents as well as provide you a lot more answers than Reddit can provide. First thing they do will test to verify if she actually is pregnant. While it sounds like she was being really sketchy, it is possible that she might just be a little under-educated about her body. You had sex one time a month ago, so if you give her the benefit of the doubt, she might just be having an irregular period and not actually be pregnant at all. Next, if she actually is pregnant, they try to pin down the age of the fetus. If the doctors determine it is 2 or more months along, you have your ability to deny the baby without disclosing your health issues to your family or anyone else's, as both parents set you two up. Everyone is aware how short the time frame of conception would logistically be to be your child. If she actually is pregnant and the doctor determines the fetus fits into the 1 month conception time span, then you bring up to the doctor in front of her about your past infertility diagnosis and ask the doctor to do tests on you to see what the possibility is of you fathering children. They should be able to determine if you have the ability, or if the previous doctors were correct about your infertility. If they determine you potentially can father children, remind the girl about your feelings on children that you discussed before you ever had sex. What, if any, involvement you will be willing to have in the kid's life. If she decides to keep it, let her know you will expect a paternity test performed. First, make sure you're 100% sterile. Then call the family for a meeting and lay the facts down. Then ask them to do a DNA testing, just to be sure. She might have some other life that you're not privy to, and if I were you, I'd my foot down for marriage unless there's proof that the baby is yours. Make sure you tell them that you're not blaming anyone, but there's really an extremely low chance that the baby might be yours, and you want to be 100% sure. My niece was born last year in March. My Bill was told he couldn't have children after having surgery when he was younger. Get a paternity test because the kid might be yours. Just do a paternity test. No need to tell them her business. Ask for it privately to her and tell her that if it is hers, you will go there with the wedding. The first question I had, honestly, is she even pregnant? Proof is needed. Buy a test. Have her take it while you wait. Some crazies will lie about this kind of thing. Then follow the other advice you've gotten here as well. This may be insensitive, but isn't it weird how your family wanted you to get married? Found you a friend's daughter who went along with everything you did and is now supposedly pregnant. I have the feeling your family planned this or was somewhat involved in it. Tell them you are sterile. Cut contact with your ex-girlfriend and try to figure out what you want to do about your family pushing their wants onto you. You need to tell her you aren't the father because it's not possible. Him saying the girl's family knew she was knocked up already but didn't like the real dad, so they pushed her to trick this dude into a fling so he would have to marry her. Well, first of all, did you tell them that you can be the father? That would have been my first sentence out of my mouth. I bet your parents are in on it. I would ask her timeline. Honestly, if it was a month ago, ask for ultrasound pictures. That can help you track it back to compare the dates. I think you may have the answer you are seeking with this method. My spidey sense is you've been set up by her family, and they needed a nice husband immediately. Don't think you're going to get an ultrasound a month in. Sex 1 month ago would mean 6 weeks pregnant. I've had an ultrasound at 6 weeks. That early in the pregnancy, ultrasounds can be very accurate as to how old the fetus is. No! Exclamation mark. Don't tell them that you're sterile yet. First go and get checked that you can't have kids. Keep the report with you. Then calmly ask the girl for the paternity test. Now if you're still sterile, then you know that she is either lying or she cheated on you. Either way, she messed up. She will freak out and will probably confess once she realizes that there is no way out. When she confesses this, then your family will realize that she wanted to trap you. They'll get on your side. If they don't, then you can show them the paternity test. That's it. I'm saying this because you might not need to throw your race yet. Do it only when you don't have any other option. Good luck, mate. She doesn't deserve you. This one seems simple to me. Verify sterility or lack thereof. Verify paternity or lack thereof. If you're the father, step up. You created a kid, whether you wanted to or not. If you're not the father, run like hell. You don't need that crazy train. You're being baby trapped. Go to your doctor and have your fertility checked, and then tell your family and hers that it's impossible you are the father. My guess is she was sleeping with multiple men, specifically to get pregnant, and then was going to pin it on whichever man made the most money. First off, get your sperm count tested, then get a paternity test done. If you used a condom, the chances of the child being yours after one time is quite low, not impossible. But if you also test low or sterile in your sperm count, then sex with a condom one time, yeah, the chances of it being yours is next to impossible. So first steps are doctors for a sperm test, then a paternity test. Do not accept responsibility of the child till at least paternity test is done. It's more likely they are lying about her being pregnant, but it'd go to a urologist and get tested. Find a lawyer. She cheated and is trying to pin it on you. You need to put your foot down and let them know you can't have kids. If she keeps pressing it, Then demand paternity test when the baby is born. Get tested now. Prove you aren't the father. If you don't, you risk supporting another man's child for the next 18 years. Don't be a fool. Once you have proof you're sterile, send the report to her family, not just her. Ask for a prenatal paternity test. It's safe and non-invasive. My uncle was told he was sterile after an accident, age 19. Then he had 2 kids, conceived in his 30s. In both cases, casual sex and paternity tests. Definition follow-up: a doctor to check for sperm and pad testing. Kind of sounds like your parents set you up. They get a married son and a grandkid. Other family gets helped out too. Reputation of the girl is saved. I can see this. How long after the introduction did you have sex with her? If it was shortly after meeting, then my bet is on that she got pregnant in a way no one in her family is happy with, and they are trying to find someone to take the blame. This reads as an almost stereotypical example of such a situation. Granted, it only works depending on the timeline. If you didn't have sex with her until 8 months after meeting, then it's out the window. With that being said, the other user's suggestions to have your sterility retested, and after that, a paternity test, are what you have to do to follow up. Do not accept any responsibility. Do not make any promises, vague or overt. Do not do anything that could in any way be taken as accepting responsibility until those are done. You had sex once, with a condom on. The chances of you being the father are very close to 0. She ghosted you immediately. You are a high earner and seemingly naive about the ways of the world. Get a lawyer. Don't talk to your family until this is settled. Then see a psychologist about what constitutes a healthy family. You are being used by everyone involved. My ex, F, was diagnosed as being infertile by 2 different doctors. I took that as a free-for-all pass. Our daughter turns 15 in a few months. Paternity. Get your steely results ASAP. And lawyer if it comes to that. Best of luck to you. Get your sterility confirmed and demand a paternity test. I agree with some other posters. Your doctor may have been wrong about your sterility. However, how did you dispose of the condom? Any chance she may have taken it? This is a red flag. Go to the doctor first and get yourself checked and see if you're 100% sterile, and then go for the tests to see if it's yeah kid. I see a lot of the correct answers being said. Get the test. Prove to them you can't have kids etc. But man, I'd love to see her reaction. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.